You are tuned in to Black Talk Radio, new black media for the new millennium.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. And we are back from our hiatus, our little sabbatical, in a sense. We are back, and I tell you, I am just so grateful. I have to start off with saying I am so grateful that we made it through Hurricane Harvey here in Houston, Texas. The Texas area was slammed, pummeled with rain, just, oh my God, flooding, Hurricane Harvey, and now we have this Hurricane Irma. And then I think I heard somebody saying it's Irma has some friends. It's a Katie and somebody else coming along with Irma, and the meteorologists just don't know which way this darn hurricane is going. It's just ridiculous. I know I have family in Florida, and they are in preparation now for the hurricane. I tell you, this year, oh my God, it's historic. This has been a historic year in terms of the weather with this Hurricane darn Harvey. Lord have mercy. I am not a native of Houston or Texas. People tell me here that Allison was like horrific, but this Hurricane Harvey was worse than Allison. And I know when I moved here to Houston a year after Ike hit in 2008, and I can still see some of the damage when I relocated here to Houston. Damage from Hurricane Ike, the windows of some of the homes and apartments. You could see that they were still patched up from the hurricane. So I just, goodness gracious, it is going to take years to repair the Houston area, Texas, Rockport, Corpus Christi, all these different areas that were affected by Hurricane Harvey. Dickinson, oh my God, Port Arthur, Beaumont, Crosby, all of these areas right outside of Houston. So it wasn't just Houston with our 4.5 or 6.5 million people. We have to include all of these other small towns of, maybe just about 900 people or 1,000 people. They were affected. When I looked at some of the video of Dickinson, my goodness gracious, house after house, every house, 3 streets, 4 streets over, everything, all of their possessions out on the street because of the flooding and the hurricane. So my condolences to all of those people that lost loved ones, people that still have family members and friends, loved ones missing. My condolences go out to everyone, strength and prayers, people that have lost everything but their lives and they're having to start over. And just think about it. If you're an independent person, you have your own vehicle, you're working every day or have your own business, you have everything, you have your family, you have clothes, food, all of this. Just imagine all of that being taken away from you overnight. And you have to start over like you're a newborn or a person coming out of incarceration or enslavement, and you're starting over. So I just can't even imagine what that's like. And I have to say I am still exhausted because it seems like for a week I didn't get any sleep, and so I'm like, oh God, just still exhausted. So I can only imagine also what the people are feeling like who have been having to reside in some of these shelters around town. So strength and prayers to everyone who has been affected by the hurricane. Strength and prayers to everyone that's in the path of Hurricane Irma. And we'll make it through. And this too shall pass. So welcome into the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. Namaste, Featherlight.
Namaste. Namaste, everyone. We're back.
Yes. Yes. We are back. We are back here. And we have a great show tonight. We are going to have a guest on, Tonier, Caine. And she is an addiction specialist. So we will talk about addiction and recovery, prevention, and some resources available to those that are suffering from addiction. So this will be a very interesting show. Looking forward to her coming on, because I tell you, with the opioid addiction now, I just really would love to hear her position on the resources being available for those people that now are suffering from opioid addiction. She suffered during the crack epidemic. So we're going to hear from Tonier Caine tonight, so stay tuned. And tonight we will honor Baba Dick Gregory for our African Spirit segment tonight. Again, one of my favorites. But we always honor one of our favorites, but he is really one of my favorites. Baba Dick Gregory. Oh God, rest in power, brother. But he lives within us. What's that Lion King song, Featherlight, that you like to sing? He lives in me. Is it He lives in me, Featherlight? He lives in me. He lives in you.
Yes. You're breaking up. I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, the Lion King song. He lives in me.
Oh,
I said Baba Dick Gregory will live in us.
Right. He lives within me. Lives in me. Yes.
He lives in me.
He lives a long life. He accomplished a lot and made a lot of impact.
Oh, absolutely. He definitely impacted my life.
He was here.
Yes, indeed. So we'll honor him tonight. You can send your letters to the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show at mindbodyspiritradioShow@gmail.com. And you can also donate to the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. And you can also donate to the Black Talk Media Project so that we can keep these shows coming to you, streaming to you. And be sure you go on the page and you can donate and also purchase your Black Talk Radio Matters t-shirt. And just donate because we have to support each other. All righty. Yes, I have a quote. Let me share my quote from Baba Dick Gregory. This is a quote. Love is man's natural endowment, but he does not know how to use it. He refuses to recognize the power of love because of his love of power. Baba Dick Gregory. Say that again. Okay. Love is man's natural endowment, but he doesn't know how to use it. He refuses to recognize the power of love because of his love of power. The late, great Baba Dick Gregory. Yes.
You remember some years ago when he said, "Your time is just about over." You remember that? Some years ago.
Yeah, I remember him saying that
back then.
Oh, yes. That was right after 9/11. So that was 2001. I remember that. Okay. I remember that because he said, y'all better get ready. Playtime is just about over. And he was not lying because, oh, my God. Oh, can you imagine all the things we've experienced since 2011, 2001? Losing all your, the few rights we did have. You don't even have those. Goodness gracious. Lord have mercy. Whew. All right. And you have a quote for us, Featherlight?
Yes, I do. My heart really goes to the victims who were affected by Hurricane Harvey. So
okay.
To show it substance and power, nothing compared to.
Hey, give me just a second. Greetings, ladies.
So
This is Scotty Featherlight. Can you hear me? Yeah.
It's not happy people who are grateful.
I don't think she can hear you. Featherlight? Featherlight. Scotty's saying something.
Yeah, I need to mute her and then unmute her and see if that clears up. But she's not coming through clear at all. So let's try it now. Featherlight. Hi.
Oh, I'm not coming through.
You are now.
No.
I am now?
Yes.
Okay. It is not happy people who are grateful. It is grateful people who are happy. It's not happy. Well, it is grateful people who are happy. Talking about our problems. This is another one I wanted to share. Talking about our problems is our greatest addiction. Break the habit and talk about your joys. Talk about your joys.
Yeah. Now, I agree with that. And also, just to dovetail that, sometimes we tend to withhold speaking to people about certain things that are concerning us. So I think it's also good to, not just talk about your problems, but if you do have a problem, talk to somebody about it. Don't just try to hold it in. But I mean, I understand the context of your quote, because it's like you don't want to always seem angry or have a problem, or when you call a friend, it's always issues and problems, never anything joyful to share. So that makes a lot of sense also. Thank you, Featherlight.
Yeah. Throw in a joy, from here and there. Our power went out, but it only lasted a day or
2 days.
We had to stand in line at Kroger just to get into the entrance of the store, but the line wasn't as long as it was the day before.
Exactly.
Appreciate.
Be appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a friend. Oh, okay. I have a friend. Every time she calls, it's depressing. Oh my God, it's just so depressing. I mean, if it's not this, it's that. This, that. Somebody broke their leg. Somebody arrested. Somebody this, that. They sick. This. Oh Jesus. I mean, never anything joyful. Oh God. And then she'll say all of that, and she'll say, "But I'm going to church Sunday, and I'm gonna praise God." And I'm like, "Girl, okay then. Well, praise Him, honey.
She'll say what?
I'm going to church Sunday,
okay.
And I'm, this and that." And I'm like, well, I hope that make you happy, and when you come out of church, I hope that change your spirit. And she may need to hear your quote. Goodness gracious. So, donate to the Harvey victims. Mind, Body, and Spirit actually has a fundraiser set up also for Harvey victims, because in speaking to so many people who lost everything, like I mentioned, lost everything but their lives, and they're starting over. A lot of companies like T-Mobile actually waived any payments for this month of September, and I'd already paid my phone bill, a few days before Hurricane Harvey. But a lot of companies are waiving any of those payments for the month of September, which is great, because there's some people whose cars Of course, if you've seen the pictures, cars underwater. So people are, some people are able to, just go and purchase a new car with their insurance payoff. But some people only had liability. So they're without a car. I spoke to a gentleman today, only had liability. He doesn't have a car, so now he has to go buy a new car. So these are unexpected expenses. People they're not in their homes. They have to buy all new clothes, everything, food, furniture. I mean, completely starting over. So we have this fund. It's a YouCaring, and it is youcaring.com/Hurricane Harvey victims -938012. I'll repeat that, youcaring.com/Hurricane Harvey victims -938012. And this is also for future preparedness. And Featherlight will share some preparedness tips. We need to be prepared. People you may have seen, and we'll talk more about this later, you may have seen some of the pictures where people brought out their own boats and high-powered vehicles, these 4x4 trucks and Hummers, saving people. So I tell you, baby, I used to always joke about, I love Houston. I put on for my city. Oh, I put on for my city. Every time I fly in, I just get excited, like, oh, yeah, I'm back home in Houston. But I have a new appreciation and love for Texas, and I see why people say, don't mess with Texas. I can see where that old adage comes from, don't mess with Texas, because guess what? People did not wait on the Red Cross or the National Guard to come and rescue people. People pulled out their boats, and they got down and they helped people, and they rescued people from their homes. Some of these people were sitting in water, 4 feet of water, 5 feet of water completely covering the bottom floors of their homes. People having to go upstairs, their upstairs apartment neighbor or something like that. So we want people to be prepared. We want to have a team of people prepared to go out and rescue people, because this is the 3rd year in a row that we've had devastating floods like this. We didn't have the hurricane last year, but we had flooding. It looked like Katrina out here. It was like New Orleans last year and the year before. So we want to have a preparedness team set up for different neighborhoods so that people can actually get out and help and be prepared to help. So that's also a part of our fundraising. So we want to help those people take care of these immediate bills that they have, okay? And we also want to see if we can organize ourselves and have our own more boats and flood gear. We need some flood gear. We need those boots. We need those flood suits. We need all of that. We need to be prepared. So, people may have seen, the talk of, what's his name? Kevin Hart. I'm not a big fan of Kevin Hart. Never been a big fan of Kevin Hart. But anyway, so Kevin Hart encouraged his celebrity friends to donate to the Red Cross. I mean, I'm like, Kevin Hart, are you uninformed, or are you just an idiot, or are you just I don't know. I'm trying not to bash people, but, I mean, really, Red Cross, you can do, I'm not even going to go into the whole deal on Red Cross because I don't have time right now, and I'm just not going to give them the time right now. We could pick up on that later. But we witnessed how the Red Cross was remiss in their duties in terms of helping the people in Katrina, as well as with the earthquake in Haiti. Red Cross raised millions and millions of dollars and only built 6 homes. Okay, and the Red Cross, they're just completely out of touch. When people need food or something like that, or shelter, then they come in with, just say some dumb stuff like, oh, we're going to build a soccer field over here. Don't nobody need no damn soccer field. They need food and housing. So anyway, if you would like also to donate to the Bread of Life, that's through St. John's Church downtown. I used to attend that church, and I was a member of that church because of their homeless program. So this I know. Beyonce is a member of that church. She was a member of that church in Houston, and she still donates to the church. I read somewhere where she had a donation of $7 million, and then she continues to donate. And also, just to speak on her donations, her and Michelle, who was a member of Destiny's Child, also built housing for homeless people and low-income people, and the health care is provided through the church. So if you are looking for another organization where you can donate to, and that money is going to go directly to people, you can donate to the Bread of Life. Okay, you can check that out online. They're having Beyonce, I think it's Beyonce, Jamie Foxx, who's also from Terrell, Texas. Terrell, Texas is right outside of Dallas, a little small country town. They are co-hosting a fundraiser also, a telethon for Harvey victims, so be sure to check that out. Let me see. You have any hot topics, Featherlight? Anything else you'd like to share? Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Featherlight. We can't hear you. I don't know what's going on with your mic, but we can't hear you. So I'll just.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You might need to do something with your mic.
Okay.
Or try calling back and establishing a new connection, because sometimes when people say I got a bad connection, there really is some truth to that. You can get a bad connection. So, it looks like Featherlight's going to try that. But Black Rose, I'm going to put you on the spot right quick, and I appreciate the coverage, that you've been providing us on the Black Talk Radio Network. As a Houston survivor, here we have Featherlight back. Featherlight, do we have you back?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this better?
Yes.
We'll be able to tell in a minute or two. But Black Rose, if you're not busy tomorrow, if I could have you as a guest on BTR News Live, which is from noon to 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 11 to 1 Central. That's y'all time, right? So if we can, I'll email you if you can be a guest on tomorrow, because I have some information I want to ask you, but I don't want to, interject that into your program. But I would love for you to also come on and give that information about the Bread of Life, who to donate to, and the Red Cross. I want to talk to you about that on a segment, if you don't mind. Sorry to interrupt, and hopefully, Featherlight, your issues are cleared up.
Oh, no problem, Scotty. Now, I have to say, tomorrow we are delivering kits to some of the people that lost everything. So I'm not really certain if I'll be available at that time, but I can definitely try to let you know.
Even if you can only give us 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, call in with one of the people you helping, one of the other survivors, if they want to speak to us. But hey, we keep it loose on BTR News because that's our afternoon music mix as well. So I'm not, just call in if you have time.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah, I can definitely do that then. I can do that. Not a problem. Well, thank you so much for that invitation. Thank you so much. Yeah, and we have someone in the chat room that also says the Clinton Foundation still owes Haiti $50 billion. The Clinton Foundation has done so much dirty work in Haiti, not just with in terms of building, but also with children, the trafficking of children. They've been the Clinton Foundation has been attached to that. Now, I don't know. Allegedly, this is what has been said about them. That allegedly, because I don't need them trying to come sue me about anything. But so yeah, I'm just not with donating to the Red Cross. I think even before like Haiti and Katrina, I'd already researched Red Cross and just kind of figured out the deal with them. I mean, they won't even tell you where the money is going. I mean, they blatantly just like, well, we can't really tell you where the money's going. and all of this. And you can check the CEO's his salary, and Red Cross will tell you that their fundraising, the money that they raise, the funds that they raise, primarily go to administrative costs, which means it goes to the administrators. So, all right, Featherlight, you have something you would like to share?
Okay, can you hear me clearly now, or no?
Yeah, but you don't have to yell. Yeah, we can hear you though. That's like with with the blind people, you start yelling at them. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you just fine. Okay.
Okay. So in the midst of all the flood waters from the Hurricane Harvey, and so many people who've been displaced, thousands of them have had to leave their homes and relocate to shelters. About 2,440 people reportedly apparently inside the evacuation shelters. So someone has decided to do something to the spirits of these people. Salon, yep, she's 59. She wanted to do something about lifting their spirits. So she decided that she would organize other ladies, other owners, salon owners, called all their salons, and they shut down their own salons and came here to Houston in the adventure and clean and style the hair of the displaced. And she said, you might have gone through the storm, but you don't have to look like you went through a storm. And sometimes if the person looks good on the outside, it helps them to feel better on the inside. It's an act of kindness that she did. When you close your beauty shop, when you close your salon, you're losing money. So these ladies were willing to do that, come here on their own expense, and help these people in the way that they can, use their gifts to help these people. And I'm sure it put a smile on a lot of people's faces. And I thought that was good to mention. In the midst of so many people helping each other, like you were saying, get together and just help each other. That was another act of kindness during the midst of all this that's going on. And she also is a native of Texas, of Missouri City, Texas, and she has a long history of helping people. This is not something that she just thought of. She also has a not-for-profit organization called Hair Dreams by Crystal, and she helps those people who've lost their hair due to cancer or other issues. So this is something that she does on a regular basis, help people. So,
that's so wonderful. What's her name again?
Her name is Crystal, Christal, Mercier, Mercier. Crystal Mercier.
Right. Great. Maybe we can try to catch up with her. That is excellent. Thank you for sharing that, because I did see a couple of barbers actually went to George R. Brown Convention Center to cut hair for the men. So I'm glad to see that the ladies stepped up and came out to help also, because let me tell you what you said about feeling good, looking good and feeling good, because my nail shop has been closed down for 2 weeks. And I'm like, Lord have mercy, when y'all coming back, for goodness sake? Jesus Christ. I couldn't get my eyebrows arched, couldn't get my nails and my manicure and pedicure. And Lord knows, after all of this, I was like, I need some pampering. So, I couldn't get my little treatment. So, that just goes to show, we've been on lockdown here. We only have one way out of our neighborhood. And we were only like miles from the flooding, actually. From just not even miles, half a mile from where some of our neighbors had to evacuate. So I have to say I am so very, very, very grateful. So very grateful. And we have our guest. Now we're going to bring in Miss Tonier. Caine, welcome in. Miss Caine, how are you? Sister Caine?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to come on and share with us. We really appreciate you sharing the information that you're going to share tonight, because I think that it's so needed because of your experience and what you continue to do to help people. So we want to thank you for coming on. She's an advocate. So let's hear your story. How did you what I guess encouraged you to start your advocacy now? What was your life experience?
Well, my advocacy, the advocacy work I do now is what's birthed out of what I've been doing in my life. You know, a lot of times we see people coming out of certain situations and we so easily want to give up on them, or we believe that they can never get better. And because I know that people can get better because I got better, you know, it's one of those things where I felt like I could not come through something. God brought me through something, and I had to go back and do whatever I had to do to try to bring people through as well. You know, and for me, one of the things that I'm an advocate for a lot of things, for child abuse, child neglect, sexual abuse, foster care, oh my goodness, homelessness, substance abuse, people coming out of incarceration. Because I've been through all of that, you know. I experienced my first sexual abuse around age 9, and you know, nowadays that's not uncommon to hear because people are feeling they feel empowered to talk about what happened to them. With my story, I was sexually abused early on at age 9, and I came from a household where my mother, for whatever her reason was, she was unable to take care of us, and she was an alcoholic, and she would leave us in the household sometimes in 2 and 3 days by ourselves, you know, to fend for ourselves. And I was the oldest. So I guess very early on I learned that whatever happened, I had to take care of everything. And what I believe was bad things happen to bad people. And that belief system came out of being smacked down, called names, and the things that was happening to me. I really believe that bad things happen to bad people. So if this very, very bad things happening to me where men are hurting me, then I must be a bad, bad child. So I didn't want to expose it, so I kind of pushed it down into a very, very dark space and place inside of me and never talked about it. But I went from that to foster care, only to experience a horrific. You know, foster care is so horrible, and it's not the actual foster care of families or that setting that's horrible. It is the process and how they snatch and place kids. There's nothing that's put into place to help kids to deal with this better, or to help kids to be able to take this on in a way where it would not devastate them or traumatize them even more. You know, you have these white cars, these state cars pulling up to people's houses, and they tell you, well, your mother's unfit, you got to go, and we're taking you. I'm social worker, this or that, and I've never seen this woman before. And then they take you to a house. You've never seen this house before. And the person that opened the door, they identify this person as foster care mother. They use the title mother. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of trauma that happened even in that process. So I went from already traumatic process to going into foster care. From foster care, I ended up staying with my cousin, and things got better for me. I felt a little safe. Nobody was touching me. Nobody was calling me dirty, mean anymore, because I was always very dirty. But my mother came back around age 14 and asked me to come back. And because we love unconditionally, children love unconditionally, we're always looking to have that approval and love from our parents or whoever's taking care of us. I went back only for her to beat me in the streets in front of the community. I ran away, took an overdose, woke up in the emergency room. Nobody asked me why. They talked to my mother, released me back to my mother. And not long after that, my mother signed a marriage certificate for me to marry an older man who ended up beating me. And then he left me homeless. He took my older son as a form of punishment from me. And so I was left with nothing. My son was the one thing I knew that would love me, because I knew no matter what my mother did, I loved her. So I knew that I had guaranteed love with my son, and he took my son away from me. And after he left me, he came back to pick my son up for the weekend and send him out of state. And after that, I spent 19 years in the streets as a homeless, prostitute, crackhead, mental. They kept telling me I had all these type of mental health diagnoses, and I spent 19 years out there eating out of a trash can, prostituting sometimes for just $2. And people told me that I would never get better. Not only was it the people in the community. See, I was so used to people in the community call me crackhead Neen. But it was very hard for me to understand why was the first drug program I went to at that time, my very first court-ordered drug program, the drug counselor raped me. You know, and so I spent a lot of time going from that, being in the streets, racking up 83 arrests and 66 convictions. In the detention center, once I told them I was pregnant. They got my urine mixed up, told me I was not pregnant. I had a urinary tract infection, and they medicated the infection as if I had the infection. I went to use the bathroom one morning, my baby head came out. I was 5 months pregnant. They shackled me to the gurney and threw a sheet on the bottom half of my body because my baby was unable to fully come out. Only the head was able to come out and the baby was stuck. And they allowed me to lay there shackled down with my deceased baby stuck between my legs. So when I tell you that I've been through a lot of things over the 19 years, I've been beat and raped so many times I can't even count them. Everywhere I was going, people were hurting me. So where do you go from there? How do you believe in yourself, or what do you see other than that? And so there was pain on top of pain and on top of pain. So the crack cocaine was the one thing that kept me alive. When I tell people that, people are, what? I was like, if I didn't have crack cocaine at the time, I would have blown my brains out. I would have never got to the point where I'm on the phone with you tonight. You know, because I had a horror movie playing in my head. Everything that ever happened to me, those big men that covered my child's body, my husband stomping me in the ground and then telling me he loved me, my mother, you know, neglecting me and abandoning me, and then all the beatings and the rapes, having children as a result of prostitution and rape being snatched from my arms as I gave birth to them. So, you know, we're talking about tremendous amount of trauma, and people told me I would never get better. Yep.
But you know what? And when I hear your story and on your biography page, sister, you had this picture when you were arrested. Girl, you were in the sunken place. Woo! You were in the sunken place, but now you look like you're sitting on top of a mountain. Now you need to be on the front of Essence magazine, and it just speaks to. Yeah, it just speaks to how life can throw you these curveballs and seem to eat you alive. But like you said, after 19 years of being committed to crack cocaine, 83 arrests with 66 convictions, and now you are an international speaker and a trauma expert. So, I mean, you're a true testament of how sometimes we have to go through these things so that we can help other people, and that is exactly what you're doing. I really have to commend you for that, because some people would just give up, or they still on crack, or on some other kind of drug, or just never recover.
Take their lives.
You were able, or take their lives, exactly.
Yeah.
But you were able to recover, and you're helping other people to recover. Oh, my goodness.
I have some friends that did not make it. I'm telling you, I have a lot of friends that didn't make it. And I look back on my life, and, you know, this all was just 12 years ago. You know, this wasn't 20, 30 years ago. This was all just going on 12 years ago. And so you're right. And it also goes to show that it's in us. You know, we were not created to fail. We weren't. So when we do fail, and we do have these life situations, we need certain things to help us to get back on track. And we need certain people to help us. And so what better person to help you than somebody that's been through it? what I love about my story is there's nothing I can tell you that I've been through that you would say, oh, well, no, you wouldn't understand what I've been through, because I've been through it all, and the homelessness, everything. And so I have that life experience and that identification where I can tell people, look, I know what you've been through. I know, but I know what it can be like on this side too. You know what I mean? And people just need to be empowered and encouraged. And the reason why I ended up writing that letter to the healthcare Senate is to talk about the importance to continue to fund Medicaid so we can have programs. Now, I did have a lot of failed programs, but the last program I went to treated my trauma, and it changed everything for me. And not only did I write that letter to the Senate the Healthcare Committee, but I'm out there training providers in every state on how to do better, to get better results for us. So I'm not just giving a letter saying, look, these programs work. I'm out there making sure that we make changes in these programs to make sure that what I went through in the earlier part of mine, nobody else have to go through that. They can get the same treatment I got the last time instead of going through all the other failed treatment. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Well, let's revisit what you just mentioned about your letter to the Senate. Share with us why you decided to write the letter and what did the letter speak to? What were you addressing in your letter?
Well, the letter really was to bring attention to why it's so important to, continue to fund Medicaid so we can have these programs that's under Medicaid. But most importantly, I wanted people to put it out there so that people that have recovered and doing better because of programming to write the letters as well. So the letter just basically talk about, once upon a time I was, causing the taxpayers a tremendous amount of money every day almost. I was a 30-day repeat offender. I was going in and out of the system, whether it was correction, mental health, or substance abuse. Every 30 days, I was going to somebody's system. There was a lot of agencies that had to interact and deal with me. And then they had to deal with my children that I was giving birth to and foster care. So I was causing taxpayers a lot of money. And when you look at when I finally had treatment that was effective, that worked, that helped me to live a healthy lifestyle, I was able to buy a home a year after I got out of prison. I became a property owner and a taxpayer. So now instead of me taking money out of the pot, I was putting money in the pot. You know what I mean? And that was really what the letter was about. Say, look, I know, because what we do know is this: the government look at numbers. They're not looking at Tonier Caine's face. They're not looking at me as a person. I am a number. You know what I mean? And what happens is they deal with numbers. If substance abuse programs are getting great numbers of people doing better, they'll pull money into these programs. But if people committing more crimes and nobody is really getting better, the money's going into the prison system. We know that. So we need more numbers saying, hey, look, this works. This works. And trying to make a difference, make sure that the stakeholders, all these representatives in the different states understand the importance of it and who they really represent in the communities, So I wanted to make sure that they understand, okay, I'm going to talk your language. I'm going to talk dollars. I'm going to talk numbers, and then when you look at the opium crisis right now, how can you not? So.
And I know, especially now, there is a big push to recognize opioid addiction as a disease, and also I just read recently in Alabama, a commission has been designed to look at and treat the opioid addiction as like a brain dysfunction, like a disease of the brain. And many parents are, like you're doing, pushing for new laws to assist people that are suffering from opioids and the heroin addiction. So Now some people may say, well, people choose to take these drugs, so why do they need? Why should I assist them? Why should taxpayers' dollars go to any services? There's I believe he's a representative in Montgomery County up in Ohio. He said that the opiate addicts are causing such a strain on the economy there in terms of first responders and having to provide the Narcan for people to revive them, and all of the arrests and things. So he's basically saying he doesn't want any more funding for addicts. He's just like, get out of my county. Don't come to my county and overdose. I mean, I think he actually said, don't come to Montgomery County and overdose. Go somewhere else. What are your thoughts?
Well, if I don't know if you ever heard of the ACE study, the adverse childhood events. In the film, I have a documentary about my life, and in my film, I have Dr. Vincent Folletti. He's a Kaiser Permanente doctor, and he talks about in his, he worked for Kaiser Permanente. He was an obesity doctor. So what they were doing, they were studying why people were overeating. And what they stumbled across is people were overeating. A lot of people were overeating. A lot of people were smoking and doing drugs and everything because of childhood trauma or because of some kind of trauma. They were self-medicating. And so meth right now was a drug that was used back in the 20s as an antidepressant. And now it's on the streets as a drug street. And he makes a comment. Does it make sense to say that our kids on drugs because of drug deals, or my kids are self-medicating? You know what I mean? And so, and when you look at the prevalence of trauma right now, up to 93% of incarcerated girls has been exposed to emotional, physical, sexual abuse. Over 50% of women in substance abuse program, and these are government numbers. Which means they probably underestimated. These are government numbers. Up to 50% of women in substance abuse program have a history of incest and molestation. And so when you look at these numbers of people with trauma, you're looking at people that, like me. I mean, since my trauma, now finally somebody got to the core of the issue. They stopped dealing with everybody was dealing with the symptoms of my trauma, the homelessness, the substance abuse, losing my children, the prostitution. Everybody wanted to try to fix those things, but nobody wanted to find out, well, why she would start drinking at 9 years old. Why would a 9 years old start drinking? You know what I mean? And so, you know what I mean? So they finally got to the core of the issue and finding out, wait a minute, let's look at the deeper issue. And since my trauma has been properly identified, addressed, and treated, I have never had a desire to use drugs, alcohol, or even smoke a cigarette. It has been 13 years without one desire since my trauma has been treated properly. And so, because I am a trauma expert and because I was the team leader for the National Center for Trauma-Informed Care for 5 years, we put out a lot of literature, and this is under SENSA and HHS, and this is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. This is the government, and I was their team leader for 5 years, and we were doing a lot of research and putting together a lot of information regarding this. And it just pretty much is a lot of these kids out here, a lot of stuff going on. They deal with some untreated trauma. You look at the suicide rate, you look at depression.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I have to really agree with you on that, because in just researching addiction and hearing young children like 14 and they're saying I've been addicted for a number of years, and I say to myself, at 14 I was a majorette,
right,
in junior high school, and the only thing I really cared about was hanging out with my aunt and her friends, and I don't know, just doing school stuff. But I didn't feel like
right,
I had to escape with any alcohol or drugs at that time. And so, I often wonder, what was going on in your life, or what was missing in your life where you felt the need to escape through drugs or alcohol. And like you said, there's so many variables and factors that could play into that. Like what you mentioned about your life, and it is so common that so many young children are molested at a young age, and that leads to depression, dysfunction, and we don't look at that. We don't really examine, well, what caused, what was the impetus for that? What made you want to start smoking crack? Or what made you want to take meth? Or what made you want to shoot up? Or why are you stealing your mama's pills out the medicine cabinet? I mean, what's going on? And so you wonder, and Feather Light had a quote at the beginning of the show about not speaking about your problems and being more joyful in your conversation. And sometimes people, I think we hold a lot in, especially for black women. For black women, we have to be this superwoman, handle it all. I can take care of my husband, my children, win all kinds of awards on the job, and I'm a good friend, and I can just do everything. I'm at home cooking, I'm cleaning, and doing all of these things, just accomplishing everything. And so we have this pressure to be superwoman, and that in and of itself can be so stressful and just drain the life out of you, just always trying to be happy and bubbly, and I have it all together. And I think it's okay now for us to say, I don't have it all together, and I need to talk to my friend and let them know what's going on, not, depress them with my problems, but just talk to them sometimes. Or if you can't talk to your friend, talk to somebody. And we speak about that here at the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. Call somebody. Call one of those 1-800 numbers. Talk to somebody. But how did you? Well, let me see if Feather Light has a question. Feather Light, you have any questions or comments?
There was one that you sort of touched on. One, about the resistance that we're talking into about taxpayer dollars. Like that, opposition. So I think you kind of cleared that up. You break it down and show the numbers. So as you said, speak their language. One other question that I had, say for instance, parents, and all of this started with you at such a very young age, and there are so many young folk who are going through trauma, and no one is paying attention. You just give us some red flags that parents need to look for, like the changes in their behavior. What kind of signs to look for? I mean, we're so, as adults, parents, especially as you were just saying, black mothers, we're so inundated with work and problems and everything. We come home and the children need to talk, but we're exhausted, and they want to pull on you, and you're like, go somewhere because I'm tired, and really they need to talk. They really need someone to just listen to them. So give us some ideas of some red flags to look for when a child could be headed in that direction of getting addicted.
Well, nowadays it's a lot harder. At first you could, if a child was, normally talkative and joyful all the time, and then from that they just totally shut down. Well, nowadays it's hard to tell because kids they so these electronics, they are just, all their attention and focus go to electronics now, where you can't even tell if they're even in the world right now. So it's a lot harder than it used to be, because you could tell by the different mood swings, or you could tell by some of the clothing that they want to wear all the time, because the girls will end up covering themselves up more than usual. You know what I mean? There will be the long sleeve shirts, there will be the pants, jackets, big baggy clothes to because they don't want to show any form. And I'm talking specifically about young girls that may have been molested, or boys, really. But girls, we put on bigger clothes because maybe I'll make myself less attractive, or you see less of my body, and the hood will go over their head. You know what I mean? A lot of them become gothic. They'll go into that dark. Everything is so dark for them, and but usually, you'll be able to tell, because one thing about parents, like you said, we get very, very busy, but that instant, wait a minute, something's not right. They're not talking, or they're in a room shutting the door all the time, and you just got to keep looking for that abnormal behavior, or look for the clingy ones, because sometimes I got to stay close. If I stay close, nothing will happen to me. So normally they don't want to run to the store with you all the time. They don't want to go places, but all of a sudden, everywhere you want to go, they want to go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you want to look for that as well, and make sure, like for me, my daughter, everything for her phone, everything that's like when she gets a phone call, it'll ring my phone 30 seconds earlier before it rings her phone, so I'll see who's calling. Every text message she gets, I get the text message. Also, anybody that sends her a picture, any picture that she takes, it downloads on my phone. Now she's a middle schooler, so that can get on my nerves, because they got all these little school, their friends text. But it keeps your eye on everything of what they're. Not only can you keep an eye on stranger danger, because truthfully, we need to be worried more about familiar danger than stranger danger, if you know what I mean. So you can see what kind of things that they're saying, you know what I mean, or how they're responding to people. So that's the way. And if you could just go to your Apple. If you got Apple, we have Apple products, so Apple sets it up like that. And you just got to keep an eye on, and just kind of, nowadays you cannot afford not to kind of look closer. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this: did you receive any opposition from her in terms of tracking her calls and text messages like that? Because I hear a lot of parents now. They talk about how their children, on the phone. A lot of children. I go into a lot of the schools. And there was an incident and this was a middle school, a young girl sent one of the little boys what they call the sexting. So she sent a nude picture of herself, and of course, he circulated it around the school. So a lot of parents, they may feel like, well, that's their privacy, and I have to respect her privacy. And we see some of the TV shows, or maybe hear some of your friends that talk about, oh, my child closed the door and locked the door, I can't come in. I'll just give a quick story. I remember one time when I tried to buck up to my mom and be defiant, and all I did was just huffed and puffed because of something she said. And I closed my door, because my aunt used to do that. My aunt is 3 years older than I am, and so we grew up like sisters. And so my aunt would always close her door and lock it and all this stuff. And my grandmother would come in and pick the lock with a screwdriver, just all this kind of crazy stuff. But anyway, so I tried that at home, and I tell you, my mom used a screwdriver, but she didn't use a screwdriver to come in there and unlock the door. She used a screwdriver to unhinge the door. And she took the door off of my room for, I don't know, maybe a month or something. And she told me, you don't close any doors in this house. Because I was only like 14 or 15. And she told me, you don't close any doors in this house. You don't pay any rent. I take care of you. And that was that on that. And there was nothing I could say. And she replaced the door when she felt good and ready. But so just wondering, what was it like when you told your daughter that you would track her phone like that? And I think it's a good idea in terms of what children are experiencing.
Yeah. They're right. And because you look at kids. Parents not finding out about kids being bullied till after they commit suicide. Now it's horrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I did it, I didn't feel like I needed to explain it or get her permission. It was you're going to have this phone, and this is what's happening with this phone. So she knew from the beginning, I'm letting you know now, everything come to me. And, matter of fact, I have seen times where she's chatting with somebody, and I chime in on the chat because I'm like, wait a minute, are you not being nice? And the person she chimed in said, who is that? And she was like, that's my mom. And they were like, well, that's weird. They were like, that's weird. but look, and the fact is, it's just, it is what it is. And I've never made it an option for her, or I never said I'm going to do this for some time. And I told her, I said I'm doing this because I have to be able to monitor what's going on in your life. And she know the dangers. I explained to her the danger, what goes on. And Mommy's just trying to watch out for you. And this is not an option. This is what's going to happen. I love you. And this is another way of me taking care of you. And I'm going to take care of you.
That's right. You're my responsibility. Let's come back and pick up on that. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to motivational speaker, inspirational speaker, international speaker, and trauma expert Tonier Caine. We'll be right back. You're tuned in to the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show here on Black Talk Radio Network.
Radio since 2008, providing new black media for the masses.
All right, and we're back here at the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show here on Black Talk Radio Network. And I think we have Featherlight back with us. Featherlight, you have a quick quote for us before we go back to our beautiful guest?
Yes. I opened 2 gifts this morning, my eyes.
All right. I opened 2 gifts this morning, my eyes, to see the beautiful world.
Yes, and to breathe.
And to breathe.
So, what if you woke up today with only the things that you were thankful for yesterday? That's another one.
Okay. I have to let that one just kind of marinate a little bit. All right. Okay, then. Well, back to our guest, Tonier Caine, motivational speaker, inspirational speaker, international speaker on recovery, addiction recovery, homelessness, foster care. Was it 18 or 19 years in the street?
19.
As 19 years. Yes, yeah. Oh my goodness. And coming from that street life of being a crack addict, and now you help people in recovery. You wrote a letter to senators requesting more funding and resources for people. And what was the response? Did you receive a response?
Well, I didn't actually receive a response from the committee itself, but it was an overwhelming response to people that was like, tell me what to do tell me how to get a letter to them. You know, people wanted to know what they need to do, how can they do their part, and to make sure that their voice was being heard, and they understood the importance of, you know, the more people's voices that are heard, the louder we speak. You know.
Absolutely. In terms of children, I was listening to one video about parents talking about their children that may have been addicts or have overdosed, and one parent said that one thing she noticed is that her spoons kept coming up missing, and she just couldn't understand why all of her spoons were disappearing. And come to find out, her son was, you know, using the spoons for his drugs, in use of his drugs. So, could you share something else with parents that parents could maybe take notice of?
Well, all I can say was, if she was losing only spoons, she was in a good place, because I'm telling you, the money first. Usually the money first. So.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, God bless her, you know. I'm sorry she went through what she went through, but, yeah, I mean, and if you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean? So, right, she would know why her spoons were missing, you know, because nobody except, you know, people that use drugs know that you need to use the spoon to heat up the drugs and put up in the hype, you know. And there, you know, right now it's just this heroin, this opium epidemic is, you know, it's really fast from snorting to shooting up. So I really would recommend parents to watch out for kids that are wearing long sleeve shirts to lie when it's hot outside, or when they usually don't wear them, because that may, you know, suggest that they've been shooting up. They may are developing track marks. You know what I mean? Some scabs or anything on, you know, if you just notice, you know, different scabs or, you know, different parts of the body where you see, you know, that there's a vein there, but you see like a little puncture mark, or even just a really soft track. You know, that is the way, because they're not spending a lot of time on snorting it anymore. They're going straight to shooting it, you know, and they're cutting it with all these different types of medicines and all these other drugs, where it's just, you know, the best thing to do is shooting it up, because it probably will burn out everything in your nostrils right away. So you want to watch out for things like that. And you know, the opium use, you know, we're talking about a drug that totally changed your appearance. You know, it's not like crack, because with crack we just look simple. You know what I mean? We just look all simple in our eyes and look like, you know, you don't know if we high or, you know, we just simple, you know, simple acting. It's hard to tell sometimes. But with this opium use, people are nodding, people are like sitting down and in a glaze. You know, it's very noticeable, you know, and so crack, you know, we out there dancing in the rain. You don't know we being silly, or we crack and Neen out there dancing in the rain again. So, you know, but
crackheads were funny. I just have to say, crackheads were funny to watch. I mean, it was sad. It was sad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, crackheads would give you a show. I mean, everybody remember.
Yes.
You were a show.
I was the Kevin Hart of crackheads. Okay.
Oh my God. I have to go back to Samuel L. Jackson when he played the crack addict in Jungle Fever.
Yes.
When he would come in there, I got a new dance for you, mama. I got a new dance. Give me that TV. Give me that TV. Give me that TV. But now on a serious note, when I was 16, that was my first experience with seeing someone that was addicted to a drug. The guy that I was seeing at the time, my high school sweetheart, his sister was addicted to crack, and this was in the 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this was like 88. Yeah, about 87, 88. And I mean, she would roll him. It got so bad that, like what you mentioned about the money, so he would sleep with his wallet in his pocket, right? Because, I mean, you couldn't put your wallet down.
Right.
I mean, she got so bad, she would roll him over in his sleep and steal his wallet and run down the hall out the door. I remember July 3rd, you know how people have their ribs and everything ready to cook for July 4th. Baby, July 3rd, we hadn't seen her in weeks. She busted in that house, went straight to the refrigerator because the kitchen was, one of the doorways was right there in the kitchen. She came in that kitchen, came through that kitchen doorway, grabbed that pack of ribs, and ran down the street. I remember looking out the window, and she was running down the street with a pack of frozen ribs. I was like, what the hell? Because I had never seen anything like that before in my life. I mean, it was just, it was really something. And so for me to be, 15, 16 years of age and seeing something like that and experiencing it, I was like, man, this is wild. I mean, and she had 2 children that she would just disappear on, for weeks at a time. So, my goodness, and the crack epidemic, it really, and people would say it really destroyed lives, and I'm just so glad that you were able to recover.
Oh, mine was so dark. I mean, it's funny, but so I remember, because I come from Annapolis, Maryland. It's a small town, and I remember I used to snatch a pocketbook, and I would tug a war with the woman with her pocketbook, and she would call out my name, let my purse go, Neen, let my purse go.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm tug a war with this lady. I'm like, lady, I was like, Miss Velma, let the purse go, Miss Velma, let the purse go, Miss Velma. Come on, Miss Velma, cool down. I don't want to push you down. Yeah.
I don't want to hurt you. I ain't a killer, but
I will. Make no mistake. So, and then I would run into the crack house, and we had this police officer called Big Black. We called him that because he was big and black. He was Big Black. That's what we called him. And I would run into the crack house. He would come into the crack house. He was, I'm gonna let you finish that one because you go on for a long time this time. I was looking up smoking. I know I'm still trying to. What you talking about? Purse? The purse still on my shoulder. I'm looking at him. I ain't do nothing. I still got the woman pocketbook on my shoulder.
Oh my God! That is hilarious. I mean, we can laugh at it now, but I bet that lady was her trying to steal my darn purse.
I'm so tired of her just coming out of nowhere. Behind the dumpster and everything.
Yeah, here come Neen. I bet people like, here come Neen. Look, wait a minute. I got one more joke. I got one more joke. Yeah. Look, I was gonna say, people probably said, "Here come Neen," like they said. What was that on the wire? Oh my strolling. Oh my strolling. They probably said, Neen strolling. Stroll. Hide your wallet, hide your child, hide your child. Like that other dude. Oh my God! I could talk to you all night.
Anybody's house. I couldn't go in anybody's house. I remember stealing a phone from my cousin. Now my cousin, she was like very heavy, overweight, and she never could really get out the house. I knew that woman needed that phone in case something happened to her. I took the phone because I want to go something. No, but I took the phone knowing that she one of them great big people that's don't get out much, can't get out much. I took the only communication this woman had with the outside world. I took the phone. Wow. Didn't have the nerve to go back later on after I smoked up when I got asking for something to drink.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, it's just crazy, but it's funny as that was. I'm gonna tell you about a very dark moment. One of the darkest moments. In my world, my life was so dark. I was so out there. I was that community crack hoe. I was smelly. I was dirty. I was filthy. And I used to prostitute. And I remember this guy picked me up while prostituting. I was 7 months pregnant, okay? I was 7 months pregnant. In the midst of the intercourse, my water broke. He gave me $10 and told me get out his house. And you know where I went is with that $10. I didn't go to the hospital. I went to a shooting gallery. A shooting gallery is where they go shoot up drugs. I went to a shooting gallery to shoot up $10 worth of drugs in my vein with the water dripping down my leg.
Oh, my goodness.
So as those moments, but when you look at somebody that's is so down, that, I mean, you talking about, that is the worst you could get. That is, you talking about dark. And so, so there was a lot of those issues. You know, I would sit at the I'd go in the crack house, sit at the table. I would be so scared if I got up from that crack table that I wouldn't be able to get another piece of crack. I would pee on myself. You hear me?
Oh,
when I needed to go to the bathroom.
Oh, my goodness.
So when I tell you that was the type of crackhead I was. So I tell you that to say that's how far gone I was. But even still, I was able to become successful and live a healthy life. I share all of those dark moments so people can see that there's light that comes from you can still have that light, you know?
Yes, yes. And it's so beautiful that you were able to come out of that and become the person that you have become. Before we let you go, let me see if Featherlight, she's been having some difficulties with her mic. So do you have another question or comment for Tonier?
No, I'm just still in awe of how much she's gone through and to recover in such a miraculous way to help so many people. I'm sure a lot of people are listening and they're going, it's like, wow, this is amazing. People really do recover with help.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, how can people? I congratulate you too. I would love to have a part 2 with you on this because there's more that I'm sure that you could share and more questions that we have. Also, we're just a little short on time now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, tell us about your projects that we could follow. I know your memoir, and you mentioned like a docuseries.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a documentary that's about my life. It's actually in 5 continents, all around the world. It's the #1 tool that the government uses to train all healthcare providers now on trauma-informed care. It's called Healing Neen. It's Healing Neen, my street name, Neen, Healing Neen. My book is the same title, Healing Neen. So you have those where the docuseries is in development. It'll show me working with people coming out of different systems of care to help them to integrate into the community in a healthy way. So we have a lot of great things. I speak all over. I'm on my way to Moscow, Idaho on Sunday.
Wow, Idaho.
Yes, Moscow, Idaho. Yes, and I leave there, and I travel. Since I have worked in every state, including Alaska and Hawaii. I've been all over. I have days named after me by governors and mayors because of the work I've done helping their states and their cities. So, like I said, this is somebody that 13 years ago was called Crackhead Crazy Neen. So I just want to tell everybody, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, as long as there's breath in their body, there's hope.
Indeed. What a beautiful, beautiful, inspirational message. Are you on Twitter or Instagram where people can follow you so we'll know exactly when? Okay. Share that
I'm on
with us.
Twitter at Healing Neen. I am at Healing Neen. Tonier Caine Muldrow, my married name Muldrow, but it's Tonier Caine Muldrow is my Facebook. And then the film Healing Neen has a page itself, Facebook page. And the radio, I have a radio show. I host my little radio show, Healing with Neen, on 108 Praise Radio on every Tuesday night. But everything you want to know about me or anything you want, if you go to my website, TonierCaine.com, TonierCain.com, you can find out everything. I have a national conference coming up where I bring experts and people from all over the world in November. And so I do a lot of work with my nonprofit that I own. I own 2 nonprofits. So, yep, I stay very busy.
Yes, you do.
I'm a mom.
We need all
wife,
that.
So.
Wow.
How old is your child?
My daughter, I was in prison 13 years ago, pregnant. my 83rd time. I was pregnant with again, and she's 12 years old now. She's amazing. She goes to a private school, a liberal arts private school. But she's been taking French since first grade. She's tested in the highest percentile in our nation for several years for the national standardized test. And right now she's actually asleep in my bed. So, and so it's just been amazing. So I lost 4 kids to the system. And 13 years ago, when everything changed for me, I was given the opportunity. I give the glory to God that I was able to have the opportunity to raise her and watch her life. It's just been amazing, and I have an amazing husband. So, yep, after 19 years of prostitution, I have a man that loves and adores me. So all things are possible.
That is wonderful. Yes.
Oh, wow. Applause to you and your family and all your work.
Yes.
We wish you the best, and we look forward to you coming back to the Mind, Body, and Spirit show and sharing more with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Bless you guys.
Thank you. Bless you too. Thank you so much. Namaste. The amazing Tonier Caine. Tonier Neen.
Wow, what an amazing
Caine.
story.
Yes, check out her story. Go to her webpage, toniercaine.com. That's TONIERCAINE.com. Let me give this announcement that someone has shared with us in the chat room. There is a Hurricane Harvey benefit concert. Let's see, sponsored by Immortal Technique, Brother Ali's Plug, Chino XL, K, Rhino, Emilio Rojas, Suave, Sava, Poison Pen. This will take place Saturday, September 23rd at 8 p.m., and that's in San Antonio, Texas, at the Corova, 107 East Martin Street, if you want to check that out. Again, September 23rd in San Antonio at the Corova, that's Korova, 107 East Martin Street, if you'd like to participate in that benefit, Hurricane Harvey benefit. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that with us in the chat room. We really appreciate that because we love to get that information out to people. I like San Antonio. I like the river walk in San Antonio. I need to go back and visit. San Antonio is a beautiful city. Beautiful city. The river walk is beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So I really enjoyed her. Oh, my God.
Me too.
I bet she was a trip on the street. Ooh, Lord have mercy. My goodness, I bet she did garner a lot of laughs for her antics and things. Goodness gracious. And we can, like I said, we can laugh about it now, but I'm sure during that time, that was just horrible. I mean, so many lives were destroyed during the crack epidemic. And, some people would say there was no sympathy for many people that were addicted to crack during the 80s and going into the 90s in comparison to the sympathy that you see now for people that are addicted to opioids, because the opioid addiction is not just a quote-unquote inner-city drug in big cities and all that. It's branched out into the rural areas as well as the suburbs. And so there are a number of people, parents and representatives pushing for different bills to pass that could provide resources for people that are addicted to these opioids now. So, in fact, President Obama, we mentioned this before, President Obama allocated like $1.2 billion, and then Trump, I can't quite think of the figure, but it's quite a high figure for resources for the opioid addiction. That money hasn't been released yet, but the people now, they're able to receive all kinds of resources like housing and everything. And I did want to ask her about that, but we got so much into some other topics. But I would like to hear about what was available for her and people that were suffering from the crack addiction at that time. Is it something that people are looking at in retrospect and saying, well, we should have done that for that group of people? Because now let's just be clear. Now, we know that crack was deliberately deposited into our neighborhoods. And when I say our, I mean the black communities. deliberately. That's a fact. That's on record. And so,
Right.
You know, how do we compare that, and how do we look at that? So that's a quite interesting debate that's going on now in our community. So, you have any thoughts on that, Feather Light?
Mm. Just what you just said. It's a debate. I mean, for those who witnessed it and who knew people who were affected by it, not just the one person, but the families, the extended families. What kind of help was there for them? And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are saying, well, you know, what kind of help did they get compared to the help, all this money that is for the people who are addicted now? So, you know, it's a different time. It's affecting different people, different types of people. I don't know. There's more discussion needs to be had about it.
Yeah, definitely. Some people may have heard of this. Just before we go to break, I'd like to share this hot topic, something I came across today. Michael Bennett Jr., he plays for the Seattle Seahawks. And he was leaving the Mayweather-McGregor fight, and he was walking back to his hotel room when he heard shots fired. He ran for cover, and then he continued walking once he believed that he was safe. But police unexpectedly ordered him to lay on the ground, and then they held a gun to his head, yelling, "Don't move or I'll blow your effing head off."
Wow.
And then they tossed him into a squad car, and they released him only after he was identified as a famous NFL star. Now, fearing retaliation for the use of excessive force, the officers lied and told Michael they assaulted him for his own protection. Lord have mercy.
What?
Really? That's the best that you could come up with? So people are requesting the names of the cops. I'm not sure how he was not able to get the names of the cops. They could have been hiding their badges, anything. Maybe he was just too distraught to ask for their names. But it shouldn't be too difficult to find out who those cops were, though. But people are asking for the video and the names of those Las Vegas slave catchers. That's just horrible. Now let me say this. When I heard about this, I was like, okay, Michael Bennett. I said, let me find a picture of him. When I saw his, I said, oh, Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett is one of those football, and in fact, I think that he was also one of the ones that joined with Colin Kaepernick in taking a knee, or either he was one of the ones that held up the fist. I remember seeing him interviewed by, I believe, Amy Goodman on Democracy Now!, speaking about that. And in the interview, honey, he had on his dashiki. So, you know, he's one of those kind of pro-black people. So I really do doubt that this was a case of mistaken identity. I really believe that this man was targeted. Yes. I really do believe they knew exactly. Look, these men watch football. You mean to tell me you don't know who Michael Bennett is? You didn't know who he was. Oh, I guess he was just this big old tall black man, and you just decided to assault him like that. But you know, I'm sure that after they assaulted him and at him and had him in the back of their car, they realized, oh snap, this dude plays for the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, come on now, you know him, especially if he was one of those football players that was in protest to the national anthem. They knew exactly who that man was. I believe. Those are just my thoughts. I believe that he was actually targeted. So, I mean, if you have any questions, comments on that, you can feel free to call in and share your thoughts. Let's take a break, and we'll be back. You're tuned in to the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show here on Black Talk Radio Network, and we'll be right back.
2008, the Black Talk Media Project launched the digital radio platform Black Talk Radio Network, the first such platform created to serve the black community specifically. Black Talk Radio Network has grown with a variety of radio hosts, digital radio stations, and podcasters. Web analytics say Black Talk Radio, the platform, has an online reach that ranks it among the top independent black media platforms in the world. All of this is possible because of financial contributions to the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. If you love the work we do and the voices and perspectives we bring to you every day, make a donation today to ensure that Black Talk Radio is here in the future. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
And we are back here at the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. And tonight, for our African Spirit segment, we are honoring Baba Dick Gregory, who passed while we were on our hiatus. And we interviewed Baba Dick Gregory. And, oh God, I have to say that was just one of the best interviews ever. I've been a fan of Dick Gregory. Oh my God, yes. I've been listening to him for years. My parents introduced me to Dick Gregory, and I just continued listening to him over the years. I mean, just pretty much half of my life. So we lost a great, fabulous, remarkable person, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many others. Dick Gregory was born Richard Claxton Gregory, October 12, 1932. He made the transition to the ancestors with the ancestors August 19th, 2017. And let me share a quote. Let's see. Quote from Baba Dick Gregory. Political promises are much like marriage vows. They are made at the beginning of a relationship between candidate and voter, but are quickly forgotten. Baba Dick Gregory. Memorial services will be held Saturday, September 16th at 4 p.m. at City of Praise Ministries. That's 8501 Jericho City Drive in Landover, Maryland. Dick Gregory is often called a comedian, an activist, a health guru. He was an intellectual, humanitarian. He had the strength and courage to see a need and look for a solution. He saw the need to kick down doors for black entertainers. He saw a need to fight for the rights of his people. He saw a need to provide nutritional products for the masses. He nourished them. He saw a need to be an inspiration to all. He inspired us. He said he would live forever. Forever, he lives in us. His accomplishments are uncountable. His impact immeasurable. His spirit unbreakable. He is irreplaceable. Baba Dick Gregory, rest in peace. This was a piece written by Dr. Trina Coleman. Baba Dick Gregory, as we stated, was a comedian, civil rights activist, social critic, writer, entrepreneur, conspiracy theorist, an occasional actor. Born in St. Louis, Missouri, or as some people call it St. Louis, Missouri. The son of Lucille and Presley Gregory. Gregory met his future wife, Lillian, who would often handle his scheduling, at an African-American club. They married in 1959, had 11 children. During the turbulent 60s, Baba Dick Gregory became a pioneer in stand-up comedy for his no-holds-barred sets, in which he mocked bigotry and racism. He performed primarily to black audiences at segregated clubs until 1961, when he became the first black comedian to successfully cross over to white audiences, appearing on television and putting out comedy record albums. Gregory was at the forefront of political activism in the 1960s when he protested the Vietnam War and racial injustice. He was arrested multiple times. He would often brag about being arrested multiple times and went on many hunger strikes. He later became a speaker and author, primarily promoting spirituality. A member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. And his college career was interrupted for 2 years when he was drafted into the Army. And at the urging of his commanding officer, who had taken notice of his penchant for joking, Gregory got his start in comedy in the Army, where he entered and won several talent shows. In his early career, he was often, he was often offered an engagement on Tonight, starring Jack Paar. Parr's show was known for helping propel entertainers to the next level of their careers. But at the time, black comics they were able to perform on the show, but after their performances, they were never asked to stay and sit on the famous sofa and talk with the host. Well, Dick Gregory declined several invitations from Jack Paar to perform on the show. Paar finally called him and asked why did he refuse to perform on his show. In order to have Baba Dick Gregory perform, the producers eventually agreed to allow him to stay after his performance and talk with the host.
Wow.
And he began his political career by running against Richard J. Daley for mayor in Chicago, 1967. Though he did not win, this would prove to be the end of his participation. Though he did not win, this would not prove to be the end of his participation in the electoral politics. He also unsuccessfully ran for president of the United States in 1968 as a write-in candidate of the Freedom and Peace Party, which had broken off from the Peace and Freedom Party. Baba Dick Gregory and Mark Lang conducted landmark research into the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., helping move the U.S. House Select Assassinations Committee to investigate the murder, along with that of John F. Kennedy. Gregory argued that the moon landing was faked, and the commonly accepted account of the 9/11 attacks is incorrect. In 1984, he founded Health Enterprises, a company that distributed weight loss products. With this company, Gregory made efforts to improve the life expectancy of African Americans, which he believed was being hindered by poor nutrition and drug and alcohol abuse. In 1985, Baba Dick Gregory introduced the Slim Safe Bahamian diet. I think that was like my first introduction to Dick Gregory. One of my parents, I think, had his book or it was something with that Bahamian diet. I remember that. It was a powdered diet mix. He launched the weight loss powder at the Whole Life Expo in Boston under the slogan, "It's cool to be healthy." The diet mix, you would drink it 3 times a day, and it was said to provide rapid weight loss. Because he used to be pretty overweight. He received a multi-million-dollar distribution contract to retail the diet. In 1985, the Ethiopian government adopted Gregory's formula to combat malnutrition during a period of famine in the country, and a lot of success was reported from adopting this diet mix. Some people may remember he gave the eulogy at Troy Anthony Davis's funeral. Remember all the activism around Troy Davis. August 19, 1989 is the date when Troy Davis was accused of murdering this police officer in Savannah, Georgia, even though evidence came out that he was innocent, and the case should have been looked at again. But I remember, what's his name, Justice Clarence Thomas. He was the one that could have given the vote for Troy to have a stay, and of course he didn't. And I remember that like it was last week. I mean, we were like staying up all night just protesting it and trying to see what would happen. There was a lot of activism around Troy Davis, and they still killed him. So Baba Dick Gregory was known for his comedic performances that not only made people laugh but mocked the establishment. He died of heart failure at a Washington, D.C. hospital at the age of 84. He is the author of numerous books, and there is a film that he is featured in, 2 this year. One came out September 3rd. It's called The Leisure Seeker, and also The History of Comedy. So, Baba Dick Gregory. Love him, love him, love him. All right. Yes, and that was our African spirit, honoring Baba Dick Gregory. He lives in me. He lives in you. From the Lion King, he lives in me. All right, Feather Light, you have a spoken word for us?
I'll do a little short one. Okay, I'll do this a little short one. Okay, this is I Want Your Toy, and this is a conversation between 2 boys, boys and their toys. I hate to say boys will be boys. It's like giving them an excuse to do anything bad. But anyway, This is a conversation between boys, 2 boys. First boy, this is called I Want Your Toy, or I Want Your Toy. I know I have a toy, but I want yours. My toy is old, and sometimes it doesn't work right like it did when I first got it. It doesn't always wind up when I want it to. It doesn't fly high enough. It doesn't spin around sometimes. It's supposed to spin. And it's got scuff marks from me throwing it up against the wall when I was angry. And just when I'm ready to play with it, sometimes it doesn't turn on at all. So I want your toy. It looks better than mine, and it's shinier, and you're not playing with it all the time anyway. I don't even have to wind up your toy that hard. It's easy to work. Plus, you have lots of toys. You have more of your share of everything. I can't have nothing for you, and you're greedy and insatiable appetite. You take it all. Now I'm taking your toy. Watch me, and you can't stop me. It's time out for you to control who gets what toy. You control everything else. Who made you the toy sheriff? You don't even know how to work your toy. I'll fix your toy so it won't only wind up for me. It will only spin for me and fly high for me, however high I desire. I'll take your little toys and play with them the way I want to play with them, right in front of your nose, because now everyone can have whatever toy they want, and I want yours. Second boy. Okay. I can't stop you. But you know what happened last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. My toys are my toys, whether I'm playing with them or not. But play at your own risk. By the way, just a minor. When you're playing with my toys, who's going to be playing with yours? Aha! Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. I want your toy.
Your toy. Yeah. I want your toy.
Your toy. Yours.
All right.
Yours.
Yo. Love the body. Love the body.
I thought you were going to give us a little, Featherlight, I thought you were going to give us a little preparedness kit. A few things for our kit.
Oh, well, okay. Let's see.
Mhm. Hurricane preparedness, because some people may be listening and they are preparing for Hurricane Irma, and they need to know what to put in their kit.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, first of all, let me just run through the most common things that you really should already know, but I'll just kind of remind you. Your first aid kit, ponchos for every member of your family, little cheap ones that you get at Walgreens, a little hood. If you're on medication, get you one of those little 7-day pill cases. Put your medicine already in there and put it up with the rest of your things. Keep it in your bag.
Oh, look. Yeah, I have to say, if you don't mind me injecting this, because many people, after they evacuate,
Okay, we've some technical difficulties, may have gotten disconnected from the ladies on the conference line. I'm trying to reestablish that connection now. Yes, that's what happened.
Joining conference now. This conference is being recorded by the organizer.
A towel and rub it across your teeth. Works wonders. Okay, I know some people want to be fresh, want to be clean, know how to stop bleeding. Turmeric. You just make it some water and turmeric, make it taste. It will stop bleeding automatically. Have a backpack so you can carry all your stuff. You have some emergency cash. That came in handy for us because we were at the grocery store and all of a sudden they said, we're not taking cards anymore. If you don't have cash, we can't help you. So I had cash. Keep your
Joining conference now. This conference is being recorded by the organizer.
They know lost their homes because they couldn't prove that they lived in that home or they owned that home. So have your paperwork, your mortgage papers, all of that, along with your license.
Exactly. A transistor radio and batteries that go with it. Cotton balls, antibiotics. Put some peroxide in a small bottle. Don't take the whole big old bottle. Just have some in a small bottle, like you do when you're going on a trip on the plane.
Travel container.
Purification, yes. Purification tablets or drops for water when your reliable water resource is threatened. Make sure that these you can get these online for under $20. I already checked them out. Make sure that they meet required standards. Plastic bags are very useful. Take a trash bag if you forget to get the ponchos. That will put a little hole in it, put it over your head, two holes for your arms, raincoat.
I did see several people with that trash bag on too.
Did you?
People that were yes. Hey, baby, look, we make it do what it do.
We make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do.
Look, I was in the park with some friends of mine, and one of them brought their daughter, and she had a dog that she was dog sitting for a cousin. And the dog, I could tell, was very, very hot because it had gotten hot, and the tongue was hanging out. And so I asked the little girl, I sat down and talked with her. I said, is he thirsty? And she said, yeah, but I forgot to bring his water in the bowl. I don't have anything. So I saw everybody bring the water because we were out dancing. And I said, whose water is that? And she said, it's my water. I said, I grabbed a plastic bag where somebody had brought the, bag. I took that bag, I rolled it up on all sides, poured the water in there, and voila, I had a bowl. That little dog was so happy. You can make a bowl out of plastic, okay? Masking tape to repair holes and strengthen the rope. Know how to start a fire. Know how to stop a bleeding. Know how to tie a tourniquet. Know how to quiet or calm a hysterical person. Know the difference between filming something and getting the hell to safety. While you're sitting up there filming something, somebody else may end up showing your film because you're out of here. Take shelter. Breathe. You can think better when you breathe. When you take a deep breath, you'll have a clearer channel for what to do. Keep wooden matches on hand. Don't rely on those lighters. Get you a couple of boxes of wooden matches. Keep all this stuff in your bag. And here's something else that's really not something that you carry, it's something that you do for yourself. Stay in good physical condition for endurance. Your immune system is going to go low because you're in that flight or fight mode. When you're in good physical condition, you build up your immune system. Your body won't give out when you need it the most. And let's see. Oh, goggles, masks, just in case you're caught in some kind of fumes or what have you. We took when we went to Ferguson, we took some masks and we took goggles because the cops were tear gassing people. So you get a gas mask. I already checked them out. You can get a gas mask for like $20. It doesn't have to be $300, $400 gas mask, but it's just something to think about. And lastly, have a plan. Who is going to do what? So you won't be running around bumping into each other, trying to do the same thing. Know who is going to go get the bag. Know who's going to get pillows to put them over your head in case things start falling. Know where you're going to go. Are we going to go in the bathtub? Are we going to go in this closet? But have a plan. And know your neighbors. Know your neighbors because they may need you or you may need them. Learn how to float, tread water. Those are my tips. Oh, one tip I just learned today, which I haven't really tried out. I was talking with this lady and asking her how her family was. They were without electricity for a week. So she said that she used her telephone as a lamp versus having candles. Sometimes the wind blows out the candles and you have a fire. And plus the candles get hot. She put a clear 1 gallon thing of water, the clear ones, not the foggy ones like we usually get, but it has to be clear. You sit that with water in it, of course the top is on it, and you sit that on top of your phone, and you put your phone, of course, on flashlight. You sit that on there, and it just brightens up the room with the water and the flashlight. It brightens up the room. It's like a lamp. So I'm going to try that once I get one of those gallon jugs, the clear kind. I'm going to try that.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Love the Body and Breathe.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's go to breathe. All right. So stand. I'm going to stand for this one. And I want you to just stand with your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, and just twist your body with your arms sort of flapping your body. Your arms, your hand will hit your stomach and also your lower back. So stand and just swing your arms. A lot of times we carry a lot of our stress in our shoulders. So this is a good way to release that tension at the end of the day. So just twist, and to give it more of an effect, just As you turn, look at the back of your heel at the floor and just twist. Okay, just twist. All right. Now, have a seat. Have a seat. Softly close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Ah, okay. Releasing any negative energies that you carry. Time to relax and release. Relax and release. So inhale deeply, and you can feel your stomach expand. And exhale, and your stomach goes flat towards your spine. Follow your breath as you inhale. It goes down your throat, into your chest, and fills your abdomen until it extends like a balloon. Exhale. Exhale all your worries and just let go for a minute of all the stuff in your head. Your anxieties about tomorrow, your worries of yesterday. And just breathe in them out right now. Breathe in cool air through your nose, warm air through your mouth. Invite all of the areas of your body to relax. And releasing in the areas of the body where you're still holding any unnecessary tension. Keeping your shoulders relaxed and calm and down. Inhale and turn your head slowly to your right so that your chin is parallel to your right shoulder. Exhale and bring it back. Inhale and take it to your left shoulder. The chin is parallel to your left shoulder. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale and exhale and drop your head toward your chest so that your chin is resting on your collarbone. Inhale, bring your head back to center. Deep breath. Now, inhale and exhale and drop your right ear to your right shoulder and slightly tuck in your chin. Feel the stretch on the left side of your neck. Inhale, bring it back to the center and just relax. When you breathe in, when you inhale, imagine that you're connecting with your higher self, and when you exhale, imagine that you are exhaling toxins from your body. One more time. Inhale 4. Hold and exhale. Thank you for participating in another breathing session, pranayama, with mind, body, and spirit. Thank you for listening to our show. We're glad to be back, and we will see you next week. Namaste.
Thank you, Satellite. Thank you so much. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. Thank you, Scotty, our program director, and we appreciate you, and thank you so much. We'll be back next Wednesday. The creep don't rise. Peace. Namaste.